Hey everybody, on this video we have a 2012 Ford Focus lock, and it's HU101 keyway with HU101 Lishi. And this lock, it does actually have all 10 wafers in the door lock, so we'll be picking all 10. And we'll still run it through a code fill anyway, just to make sure we got a valid code. That's something that's always a good idea, even if you don't have to fill anything in, just so you know that you've got a valid code and aren't going to just be wasting a bunch of key blanks. And we're going to go ahead and make sure we got this guy all the way in. Also, always a good idea too to lubricate locks and run a cut key in and out a few times, especially on locks that vehicles that are push starts or have key fobs, because the door locks rarely ever get used in those situations. And so that's already done that off camera here. I get these locks from the junkyard, so I make a habit of lubricating them all when I bring them home. And I'm going to go ahead and now identify just where our wafers are on the lock. So just looking for some spring. Got spring on 1, spring on 2. Nothing on 3 and 4. So what that's going to indicate is we're going to have 1 and 2 going one way, 3 and 4 going the other, 5 and 6 the opposite, and it'll just rotate like that throughout the lock. Very easy to feel when you don't have tension on it. You just feel for where they're springing at. All right, and so now I'm applying fairly heavy tension, and we're just going to look for something that's binding. So 1 and 2 are both springing, so we'll move on to 4 and 5. I'm sorry, to 5 and 6. And 5 is actually binding, so I've got to click on 5. Okay, 6 is springy. Okay, 9's binding. Okay, I'll click on 9. And head over to 10. Okay, 10 is actually springy, so I'm going to go back to 1. Okay, see a tiny bit of spring back on 1. It feels like it's ready to pick, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm just going to leave it alone, because you can always come back to it. Because, it could be a 5 cut, or it could be ready to pick, but anyway, you can always come back to it. So let me go upstairs here and look for binders going the other way. So 3 is springy, 4 is springy, 7 springy, see, 8's actually binding. Back off tension just a hair and get a little click. And go back to 3, still springy, 4 is springy, and 7 is springy. So I'll go back to 1, and I think 1 is ready to pick here, so we'll go ahead and pick it. Let off tension just a hair. And got a click, and now it's springy. Okay, 2 is still springy. 5 is now binding, so click on 5. Okay, 6 has a little bit of spring to it, so we're going to just leave it alone. And 9's got a little spring to it, 10's got some spring to it. So we'll head back to number 3. 4's got some spring to it. 7. Okay, I think 8's actually binding again. Okay, a little bit of a click on it now. I got a lot of spring back on 8, so I think we got that one set. Back to number 1, and 1 is actually binding again. So just counter rotate back a hair. We'll click on 1, and we are open. And so notice here, we never really had to pick 2, 4, or 6 here. So those are going to end up being 5 cuts. You can tell just by the little tiny bit of spring. One way to get a feel for that when you're actually learning how to pick these things is you want to get locks that you know the bidding to, and you know where the 5s are, and then you can kind of get the feel for them, because they do feel a little bit different. Adjust my camera just a bit here, and we'll see if we can go ahead and decode this guy. All right, hopefully we're in frame here. And I said all 10 cuts are on the door here. We'll run it through Instacode anyway, just so you can see that we get a good valid code here. All right, so number 1's going to be a 4. 2 is a 5. 3 is a 3. 4 is a 5. Okay, 5 is a 3. 6 is a 5. 7 we have a 4. 8 we've got a 2. 9 we've got a 1. And 10 we've got a 3. So run that through Instacode here, and we'll see we've got a valid code that comes up of 10319. And we zoom back out here and we'll show you what the actual key looks like. So there's our cut key. And starting from the head of the key here, you can see the cuts on it. 4 5 3 5 3 5 4 2 1 3. And see the key does work nice and smooth here. All right. As Ann mentioned in my last video, or 2 videos ago, I guess, if you saw it, then I've got a lot of HU101 videos on my channel here, so you can search board lock picker or HU101 if you have any questions about these locks. I know some people have a tough time with this Lishi because you have some kind of serrated wafers where you got to pick some spots twice. You notice I had to pick number 8 twice. I think I picked number 1 twice too. I think that's because I dropped it during the picking process. But anyway, if you have any questions or anything, you can put them in the comments. My email's also on here. You can drop me an email. And also, you can like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. And I guess until next time, we will talk to everybody later.